This is a review video of the Ibanez AEB105E-NT. Real catchy name, but it's basically Ibanez's 5-string acoustic bass guitar. And so this is the review of it that I'm going to do of it. Now, I just want to say real quickly that this probably be a little different than a lot of the reviews that I do, and that I'll be honest, this is the only acoustic bass guitar that I've ever owned, and I'm not really an acoustic bass guitar player. I don't play it that often. It was given to me as a gift, very nice gift, by the way. If you're a musician, then definitely the nicest gift you can give a musician, of course, is an instrument. But I'm primarily an electric bass player. That's what I am, an electric bass player. So I want to give this review from the standpoint not of being an expert on acoustic bass, but as an electric bass player who owns an acoustic bass. So if you're an electric bass player too, and you're like, hey, I'm curious about acoustic bass, and so maybe I want to buy one, what would it be like to actually own one? And so I kind of want to give you my perspective from that context. Okay, now since I didn't buy this bass, it was a gift to me, but I have been curious in the past about an acoustic bass guitar and if that's something that I should buy. Probably a big question that would come up from that is, well, now knowing what you know now, and if you didn't have this bass guitar, nobody had given it to you, would you buy it yourself? That's a good question. So I think by the end of the video, I hope that that's something that I'll be able to answer for you. So first off, it's a beautiful instrument. I mean, if we take a look at this thing here, this is really quite a nice looking bass. I think Ibanez did a really good job on this. You can see everything here. It's a really good looking bass. So the aesthetics of it are very nice. One thing for me as an electric bass player, when I hold the bass, is of course I immediately realize just how ginormous this body is. I mean, it's super, super wide. I mean, look at that. That's thick. So it's really hard not to have your arm rest against the body, for better or for worse. I mean, I'm from the school of, technique, try to not hold your arm against the base and kind of have it up a little bit, but I kind of find my arm just automatically just kind of rests on this particular base. Also due to the fact that if you don't, it is super, super, super neck heavy. Now it's also very lightweight, but it's so geared towards the headstock of the base. And I'll show you on a strap how this base feels. But basically, you're going to, at least for me, I find that having my arm on it like this definitely keeps it in place. Otherwise, it's just going to go straight to the floor. Now, as an acoustic bass guitar too, it's more like an acoustic guitar. The acoustic guitar and the electric guitar are two very different instruments. The same here. I mean, if I play it, and I have it unplugged right now because it's an acoustic guitar, so I want you to kind of hear what it sounds like acoustically before I give you sound examples of it plugged in. So as you hear there, it's got all the rattles and everything that you kind of hear on an acoustic guitar. And for me, I'm used to doing a lot of setup on my own instruments. On this, I have absolutely no idea how to make adjustments because there's no real bridge adjustments that I know of because I'm used to actual bridge on a bass guitar. We've got stuff you can change. So I know there is a truss rod. So there's an adjustment there. I can see the truss rod right here where you can get to that. It's kind of a tight squeeze. I guess you could angle a wrench in there to make an adjustment. So you do have that. But overall, you're not going to have the same amount of adjustability that you have on an electric bass guitar. Also, being that it's more like an acoustic guitar, and like I said, the strings, it's got the bass strings are very catchy, I guess you could say, very edgy, almost like they're very saw blade like. Not that they're that sharp or anything like that, but just compared to even regular round wounds on an electric bass, these feel they're very rough, and they're also very noisy. Also, in that it's like an acoustic guitar, you've got the same kind of finish on the back of the neck, which me personally, I dislike. I don't like any kind of finishes on the back of a neck. I like more of a satin finish or a natural wood finish. So yes, it's very, very sticky for your thumb. So moving around fast on the bass is not something you're necessarily going to do. At least not as easy as you would on an electric bass if you're coming from an electric bass. Now just real quickly, I'll just play all the strings just so you kind of hear. Some notes fretted. The B string, it sounds, in comparison to all the other strings, sounds good. So there's so much noise, though, it's probably hard for you to hear on the mic right now, but I'll have it plugged in here shortly. So yeah, it's rattly. If you're playing it acoustically, you're going to get all kinds of rattles with it. Also, the projection of it, and I don't know how well it's going to show up on the mic, but it's not like it's super loud. I mean, it's definitely way louder than, say, it's definitely way louder acoustically. I'm just going to randomly grab a bass. So that's me playing an electric bass, which you hardly hear. So it does have projection. It's just not going to probably project as much as you might expect, although after hearing all the horror stories about how poorly an acoustic bass projects, I was actually expecting to be a little quieter. So I think in a situation of hanging out in a room with acoustic guitar players, probably would be fine. But from a standpoint of once you start getting more people, like say you're doing a small performance in front of 20 people or something like that, it might be a little quiet, which thus is why you can plug it in. And speaking of plug it in, I find this interesting. It's actually got a 1/4-inch jack in addition to, or excuse me, an XLR jack in addition to a 1/4-inch jack, which is pretty interesting. Now, one thing with playing live with it, I have played this bass live at church, and it actually sounds pretty good. And I'll get to that in a minute. But one thing I want to point out is if you get this bass and you want to play it live, it's really important that you get one of these. This is a sound hole cover. This is, I mean, there's numerous companies that make these. You can buy them online, I think. I mean, it's just a little piece of plastic, overpriced piece of plastic because I paid like, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks or whatever for it. But definitely very important to get. You buy it, you just take it, you slide it up under here. And gotta finagle it a little bit, doing it real time so you can see what it's like to install it. All right, it's now pushed all the way down in. Now it's going to cut the acoustic volume here one-on-one because it's blocking the sound cover, but this is important when you're playing live and you're running out of the output. You want to block this because otherwise you're going to get feedback from the sound hole. And it is, when I found it to be very feedback prone until I put this in there. And so real time here again, I'm showing what it's like to take the cover off. So you can see it's pretty quick to put it on or take it off. Now it's off again. Now it's projecting more, but that's definitely very important for cutting back feedback. Otherwise, you probably will get feedback. All right, so I got the bass plugged in now. Sounds good, and actually sounds kind of like an electric bass guitar because I guess now it is. But one of the things I want to point out is the preamp. Take a look at the preamp there. Hopefully that focuses in okay. Yeah, it looks like it is. All right. So here's one of the things about acoustic bass preamp. Well, first of all, these little knobs are teeny tiny. So if you want to make adjustments, I have to pardon me, I'm old. I have to use these. I'm getting older anyway. So you got a volume knob. You've got your treble knob. Right now, what do I have? I can't even see what it's set on. Okay. Okay, that's all the way up now. That's obvious. And here's all the way down. Just put it in the middle. There's a center detent for the treble. Okay, and here is the bass. It's looks like we're center detent right now. Let's do all the way. Oh wait. Oh yeah, there we go. And then here's all the way down. And then here is all the way up. So it definitely has a lot of gain. You know, a lot to add on the bass and the treble, and that's so you have 2-band EQ, bass and treble. You also have this button right here, which you push, and that puts you in tuner mode. So now I can play a string, mutes the bass too, and so actually my E string is just a smidgen. I don't know if you could see that okay, but it's just a smidgen flat. So tune it again. It's a little hard to work with. I don't know how well you could see that. Once I get the green, there went the green dot. Once we see the green dot, we know we're in tune for that string. There we go. So the arrow will either be above or below, and once we get the green, we're good to go. So that's the tuner, and again, you just push this little button. Now that turns it off. Push it again. Now we're back into tuner mode. And also here's where the battery goes in. So if we just do this, I probably shouldn't do this when it's plugged into the amp. That's how you get the battery out and put a new battery in. Oops, there we go. All right, so that's basically the preamp. It's pretty simple, but Yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to make adjustments, it's like, be very careful. It's very small. So yeah, it's uh, yeah, that's the preamp, and really, um, as you can hear, if you just put a lot of, if you had treble, see, you can't even see. You have to like, it's just you just have to like find the center detent and then either go up or down based on what you're trying to accomplish. But treble just sounds horrible, so it's usually going to be down anyway, just because it's so rattly. And the bass is usually up a little bit. And so that's basically, for me anyway, the tone that I'm going to get out of it is basically just that. I mean, you don't have a lot of flexibility in being able to get a lot of different sounds. What is cool about the instrument, though, it's got a nice clean tone. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds good and it sounds good live. It really, if you got a good PA behind it, it'll really sound wonderful, or a good amp. It's just, you're not going to get a lot of flexibility in tone. All right, so here's the bass on a strap. Um, it really has a lot of, I mean, I'm just barely kind of hitting on it. It's just easily sliding down. Um, and so as you can see, it also kind of wants to kind of fall out this way, depending on how far down you have it on the strap, meaning if I was to bring it up a little bit, whoa, it just dived right to the floor there. Let me try that again. You can see the neck dive in action there. So if you don't hang on to it, regardless of what height you have it at, I guess probably somewhere around there maybe, I don't know, but as you can see, your arm's really out. But if you tend to just lean it on there, then it's going to kind of hold it in place. But of course, that's a pretty sharp corner there to rest your arm. So you're going to feel that after a while. But anyway, yeah, see, it just works its way down all by itself. So lots of neck dive. All the balance is, or all the weight is here because the body's so light. So that's something you really need to keep in mind if you're going to play this live on a strap standing up, is that it's going to want to go to the floor. The only thing I can do to keep it from doing that is keeping my arm right here so it doesn't get away from me. There you go. All right, now let's tell you how much this thing weighs. Okay, we're going to do the weight on this bass. Come on. 6.3 pounds. It's exactly 6.3 pounds. So I was asking the question at the beginning of the video is, knowing what I know now and having been curious in the past about, whether I should buy an acoustic bass guitar, and now what I know now, would I actually, if I didn't have this bass guitar right now, would I actually go out and purchase one for myself? Honestly, probably not. I think it's a really cool instrument. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy having it and playing it, but nowhere near as much as I enjoy playing an actual electric bass guitar. And there's really, for me anyway, there's no real point in having it other than just to have something different. But it doesn't solve any problems that I have, and it doesn't add anything that I need when I'm playing it live. And I actually don't play it that often because I don't find it to be something that I need. But if I do play it live, I'm making it sound like an electric bass anyway. So what's the point? For who would then buy this instrument, I definitely think there's a market for it. It depends on who you are as a bass player. If you're already into acoustic basses and you're like, yeah, this is my jam, I like acoustic basses, then I don't see why this wouldn't be a good option for you, because yeah, I think it's a good quality instrument as far as acoustic basses go from my limited experience with them. But it's just, if you're just an electric guitar player or electric bass guitar player and you're just curious about an acoustic bass, unless you really have a reason to buy one, I don't think you need to worry about getting one. It's just almost like a more clunky version of an electric guitar. Forgive me for saying that for people who like acoustic basses, because I think there's people out there that are making it work for them, and that's great. I'm not sure what stylistically or what genres or whatever you need to be playing in order to utilize it. But I can't myself, I just don't find really a use for it. But just because I can't find a use for it doesn't mean that there's not a use for it. I'm just giving you my perspective. Again, from somebody who plays electric bass and trying to talk to other people who might be thinking about buying it that are electric bass players and don't really know why they would use it either. They just think, oh, an acoustic bass, that's probably something cool that I should own because it does something that I can't do on my basses now. No, I don't think there's really, if that's where you're at, I would say save your money and don't buy it. But if you're into acoustic basses and you know what you're getting into, then definitely this is a good quality instrument for the price point. Again, to me, it just seems a little clunky compared to an electric bass, but that's just my experience. But other than that, it's really well made. Yeah, I think it's a cool bass.